So first question, how many clients do you have now, and what percentage of revenue on average is being driven through email?
So currently today, we're working with right about 50 clients, or typically our clients range from about 1 mil to about 50 mil in annual revenue. And again, typically email will account for about 20 to 30% of that after clients work with us for about 1 to 2 quarters. Again, this isn't something that happens overnight. It's not something that you're going to do right now and then you're going to have all these results today. It does like anything else take time, right? Like you implement the things today, depending on your list size, you could get results in 3 days, in a week, in a month, in 3 months, right? But it's going to kind of consistently stack and build, and it's going to really print money for you guys as you guys scale, and it feeds itself. So we have 50 clients currently. We've got about 25 people on the team full-time that work for me. And just kind of as a value add to tell people, our team, again, this is for an agency. If you have it in-house, I'll kind of explain the differences. But we have 5 people in every client. So it's an email marketer strategist, right? So in the course, we go through a lot of strategy. It has an email designer, right? So email design is really crucial to the brands that we work with. There are a lot of leading direct consumer and e-commerce brands. So we have a designer. So marketer, designer, copywriter, right? So obviously written words, copy, plain text, all these things are really crucial to getting people to go from consideration to conversion. So that's 3. 4 is an account manager. And the account manager is probably something that you don't need to have if you own your own brand, because you don't work with 6, 8, 10 clients per team. So that's probably one that you can replace, or that could be, the project manager, that could be the email marketer, right? It's pretty easy to own your own stuff internally. And then the last one that we typically have, not always, but most of the time we have, is an email developer, where we'll typically take the designs that we have and kind of custom code them. But again, I think those last 2, the account manager and the developer, those are really more nice to have. They're not a necessity. The people that have a brand and are kind of designing things themselves, you can kind of slice and dice them and build them as modules within your ESP. So essentially you'll have blocks, right? So at the top, we'll have a logo. You just insert the image for the logo. You might have like a header image, right? Insert the header image. You'll then have like a text block, right? A call to action block, right? So if you don't want to have code, or you can't code, or you can't afford someone that can code, you can do without that. So those are typically the 5 people that we have on our team for every given account. So
that's super helpful. That makes a lot of sense. We do something similar. We have a developer, but he's not specifically an email developer, and a lot of his times he doesn't spend it on. He spends it on the web development front. But I find that with Klaviyo, if you can get a strong designer, or if you can be creative with your design, you can almost get a lot of the benefit of developing just through creative design work. Cool, man. I have one more question and then one more request from you. So the last question I have for you is, can you give us a taste of this course? Like something I think that a lot of people, and I'm sorry to ask this, I know that you just released a course with this information, but I want people to see that we're not bullshitting. I think people really do trust us. I think that we have a very good, honest relationship with our group and our following with this. But I would love for you, if you're willing, to share just something that would be able to help any of these guys going. Maybe something, I think a lot of the brands here, they might be just getting into email marketing. They're saying, what are like the first 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 email sequences that I should set up? Maybe you can give us 2 to 3 email sequences that you would suggest people set up right away. And then I would love to hear if those are covered in your course and if you go into more depth on those.
Absolutely. Do you guys mind if I screenshot? I just pulled up kind of like the course outline and then like the inside.
Absolutely, man. Matt, if you want to make that full screen too for him.
Yeah, and then people that are watching, I'm going to add the link to the course so you can purchase it in all the comments. So just check for that after we finish up.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Sweet. So I'm just going to give you kind of like, this is the inside look at like the course, like once you get in. I'll kind of quickly go through like what's included, and we'll dive into like a few things that you just mentioned, Eric. So obviously background, kind of some info in the course, talking about like different benchmarks of email. If you're 0 to 10%, are you 10 to 20%? Are you 20 to 30%? Are you 30% or more? What does that look like? We go through kind of more stuff around Klaviyo, in particular, the email and how to set it up. I talk through the difference between campaigns and flows. So this video kind of just explains the difference between the two. Just so you guys know, a campaign basically is a one-time send to a group of contacts. So for example, like a Black Friday sale, which is coming up, or a Cyber Monday sale, that's a campaign. Whereas a flow would be like an abandoned cart. So the flow is taking place based off an action or a behavior if someone's on your list. So that's like an abandoned cart. I talk about like naming conventions on how you should name things. It's really important to name things properly. So that way you can properly attribute this flow to this revenue and everyone on your team knows. and then talk about like email collection. So it's really important to obviously have forms and pop-ups and flyouts on your guys' website that allow you to collect cold traffic into email subscribers. So I teach you how to build a basic form. I teach you how to build a high converting form. I teach you how to A/B test it. Then we go into flows, right? So Aaron, this is kind of some of the questions you asked about flows. I break it into both core flows on the pre-purchase side as well as core flows on the post-purchase side. So for example, I might go through 4 different emails of a welcome series for non-buyers. And essentially what the welcome series is, and I kind of mentioned this before, is you have a pop-up or something on your website to collect an email. This will basically deliver on any kind of value proposition that you promise. So 10% off, you've been entered into a giveaway, here's free shipping, right? So you really fulfill on that discount within this first email. And then you'll really focus on kind of educating and nurturing people within these subsequent emails. So I go through kind of tons of examples for a few different brands of what this should look like. Here's some bonus insight on what your open rate should be. Here's some subject lines, etc. So that's the welcome series. I talk about 4 different abandoned flows. Most people don't know about all these. It's a site abandonment, a browse abandonment, an abandoned cart, and an abandoned checkout. Most people only really know about like the abandoned checkout, maybe the browse cart. So I talk through and go through all of these. I actually have 2 videos that no one's ever, I think, really done about how do you actually set up the proper snippets to track these types of things, because the browse abandonment and the abandoned cart, if you're using Klaviyo and Shopify, require you to add custom snippets. So I actually walk you through going into a Shopify store and uploading that because it's kind of confusing. The site abandonment flow is not one that I've ever seen anyone ever talk about or leverage. And basically what it is someone's already on your list, they're active on your website, but they're not engaged. They don't look at a product, they don't add to their cart, they don't start checkout, and they don't buy. And I have a really kind of funny example that I use for the Chive. Might even be able to pull it up, where essentially what they do is they send this email, because this is kind of creepy. So they basically say to you, what's your favorite quarantine snack? And then depending on which you click, right? So if you click on Lay's, that will then take you to a collection page on their website that shows you t-shirts for drinking, right? So it's kind of really clever, funny things that we do there. Then we go into like post-purchase things like the customer thank you, right? I have a really unique customer thank you. I don't want to give too much away on that one, but it's really helpful for increasing your social proof on advertisements that you're running that will decrease your cost of acquisition. I'm going to go through cross-sells, upsells, replenishment flows. A replenishment reminder is extremely important for CBD and cannabis in particular. That allows people to get automatic reminders every month when they're about to run out of their product. That reminds them to repurchase every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, depending on what you set up. By the way, guys, I'm
awesome, man.
I'm going pretty deep into this, so apologies.
No, I really appreciate you giving all this value. I mean, guys, if you have no, the fact that Chase is giving away as much as he's giving away for free right now is nuts, and I very much appreciate it, man. It shows who you are, a value first person. Guys, this is like the most unique course that you can get. I think Matt just went ahead and published the link to it as well.
Yeah, which right link in there. I put the wrong one, but I'll put it in there now.
Oh, there. I think I see it now in there. But yeah, exactly. So guys, I highly recommend checking this out. $749 is crazy price for all this information. There's never been a course with this much information. Not just extremely valuable information that's actively working in the market right now, but like the most cutting edge information in email marketing right now. And bro, I really appreciate you sharing all that.
Yeah, just to quickly round it out. So sorry, I stopped screen sharing, but I go through 12 different campaigns that stores should be sending. Things like free plus purchase, right? A product launch, buy now, pay later, a holiday email. Talk about, and then 2 videos on segmentation. You should segment your list, which is really important. That allows you to have really healthy open rates and really strong deliverability. I talk about segmentation Q1 through Q3, as well as key segments for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And then I go through tons of helpful tips and best practices. How do you integrate kind of a countdown timer? And why should you do that? How do you make your contacts smarter? How do you basically take a finished design and actually build it modularly into your ESP? So there's tons of cool stuff. And then I actually uploaded 2 more bonus videos. So the content itself, the core course is 4.5 hours across 49 videos. I actually uploaded 2 more videos. One was a presentation I gave at like a paid conference. It was a 30-minute presentation where I go through tons of things. I think people had to pay hundreds of dollars to hear me and a couple other people speak. You get that included in the course. And then every single month, I just field questions on social media, and I'll go through for like an hour at a time and just answer questions. So I answered 19 questions. It's 55 minutes, both on how do you set up an email agency, how do you do this for your email brand, etc. So really long-winded. That's the course. I'm super excited. So apologies for rambling.